Welcome to our Middle East Briefing program. Today, we dive into some intriguing developments starting with President Trump's proposal for a U.S. sovereign wealth fund that could potentially acquire TikTok. This bold move aims to ensure TikTok's continued presence in the U.S. while navigating complex ownership laws and public concerns about government involvement in social media. In another significant story, local authorities in the Gaza Strip are urgently calling for tents and temporary shelters as thousands of families are left homeless due to destruction amid cold temperatures. They accuse Israel of obstructing aid, highlighting the pressing humanitarian crisis that continues to unfold in the region. Lastly, we turn to the world of sports, where Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith reassures fans that the NBA is not threatened by emerging rival leagues. With the league's global expansion and innovative strategies, Smith believes the NBA's future remains bright despite ongoing discussions about new basketball leagues. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these topics. BBC: President Donald Trump has initiated the creation of a U.S. sovereign wealth fund, hinting that it could potentially purchase TikTok. This move follows an executive order signed by Trump, emphasizing the fund's goal of becoming one of the largest globally. While Trump claims that the fund will generate wealth, he has not elaborated on the sources of funding. Historically, sovereign wealth funds, like those in Saudi Arabia and Norway, invest surplus income for future benefits, but the U.S. faces a budget deficit. Trump previously suggested that tariffs could finance the fund, and despite pausing tariffs on Mexico and Canada, he remains focused on TikTok's future in the U.S. amid ongoing discussions involving tech giants like Microsoft. Al Jazeera: Authorities in the Gaza Strip are urgently requesting tents and temporary shelters for thousands of families left homeless due to Israeli airstrikes. The government media office has highlighted the pressing humanitarian need for shelters, as many people are forced to sleep outdoors in harsh winter conditions. They have accused Israel of obstructing aid deliveries, which violates a ceasefire agreement that mandates the entry of tents and trailers into Gaza. Despite a recent increase in aid, restrictions remain, hampering the delivery of essential supplies. The ongoing humanitarian crisis is exacerbated by U.S. President Trump's controversial proposals, which have been met with strong opposition from Arab states, as the region grapples with the fallout from the conflict. Yahoo US: Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith has expressed confidence that the NBA will not face a significant threat from a rival basketball league in the near future. Responding to concerns raised by former Warriors minority owner Chamath Palihapitiya about the potential emergence of a new league, Smith emphasized the NBA's bright prospects, citing its global reach and innovative spirit. While discussions about a new international league are underway, Smith believes that the financial backing required to rival the NBA would be substantial. The NBA has been proactive in expanding its footprint worldwide, with initiatives like the Basketball Africa League and potential future expansions into cities like Seattle and Las Vegas, reinforcing its position as the premier basketball league globally. Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports that Usman Khawaja has come to the defense of cricket journalist Peter Lalor, who was recently let go by SEN following controversial social media posts regarding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Lalor shared posts that sparked a conversation with SEN's management, leading to his departure after claims that his commentary made some feel unsafe. In his defense, Khawaja emphasized that advocating for the people of Gaza is not anti-Semitic but rather a matter of justice and human rights, highlighting the importance of addressing the situation in Gaza without inciting fear among communities in Australia. Khawaja described Lalor as a good person who deserves better treatment. CNN highlights President Donald Trump's recent proposal for a U.S. sovereign wealth fund that could potentially acquire TikTok, as the app faces pressure to divest from its Chinese parent company, ByteDance. Trump suggested that TikTok might be included in this fund to ensure continued access for American users, amid a looming deadline for a sale. However, the logistics of establishing such a fund and acquiring TikTok raise numerous questions, including the management structure and the implications for user privacy. Experts warn that government ownership could lead to complications regarding free speech and user trust, as many users express concerns about a government-controlled platform. Yahoo US covers the recent signings of notable pitchers Max Scherzer and Jack Flaherty as they join the Toronto Blue Jays and Detroit Tigers, respectively, just before spring training begins. The hosts discuss Flaherty's surprising return to Detroit and the implications of his contract, which suggests he might re-enter free agency next season. Meanwhile, Scherzer's addition to the Blue Jays aims to bolster their rotation in a competitive AL East. The episode also explores top minor league baseball prospects and answers listener questions, providing insights into the upcoming season and player comparisons that resonate beyond the diamond. South China Morning Post reports on the evolving dynamics of international relations under President Donald Trump, highlighting a potential shift towards a more cooperative multipolar world. Despite Trump's America First agenda, the complexities of global interdependence are becoming apparent, particularly in U.S.-China relations. As China continues to advance technologically and economically, exemplified by its achievements in aerospace and artificial intelligence, the notion of de-risking from China may be unrealistic. Moreover, the emergence of a coalition among Russia, Iran, and China, driven by mutual economic interests, signals a new geopolitical landscape. Trump's potential negotiations with North Korea and Russia could pave the way for a more peaceful legacy, while the rise of BRICS nations presents a counterbalance to traditional Western dominance. Yahoo US highlights the challenges faced by UFC fighters at a recent event in Saudi Arabia, where the lingering paint fumes in the locker rooms affected their performance. Terrence McKinney, who achieved a first-round victory, noted that the paint fumes impacted his breathing and that of his fellow competitors, leading to some requiring medical attention. Despite the adverse conditions, McKinney's relentless fighting style shone through, as he continues to build his reputation in the UFC with a remarkable record of first-round finishes. His focus remains on securing a post-fight bonus, which has eluded him thus far, as he prepares for future bouts with the same aggressive mentality. BBC shares the heartwarming story of 2-year-old Habiba al-Askari, a Palestinian girl in urgent need of medical treatment for a rare disease affecting her limbs. After a prolonged effort to gain Israeli permission for her evacuation, Habiba, accompanied by her mother, was finally able to travel to Jordan for life-saving care. The BBC's special correspondent documented their journey, emphasizing the human aspect of the ongoing conflict and the desperate need for medical assistance in Gaza. This poignant narrative highlights the resilience of families facing dire circumstances and the critical role of international support in providing necessary health care. South China Morning Post: U.S. President Donald Trump expressed skepticism about the durability of the ceasefire in Gaza, stating there are no guarantees it will last as he prepares for discussions with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This meeting marks Trump's first engagement with a foreign leader since his return to the White House, emphasizing the strong Israeli-American alliance. Netanyahu, who extended his visit to Washington, aims to discuss the defeat of Hamas, countering Iranian influence, and the release of hostages. As negotiations for a second phase of the truce begin, Hamas has indicated its readiness to engage in talks, which could lead to a more permanent end to hostilities. The current ceasefire has already facilitated the release of hostages and allowed humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza, where over 545,000 displaced individuals have returned to the north. However, the situation remains precarious, with ongoing military operations in the West Bank and rising tensions surrounding the treatment of Palestinians. Trump's administration has shifted its stance towards supporting Israel more aggressively, including lifting sanctions on settlers and approving military shipments previously blocked. Meanwhile, concerns about ethnic cleansing and the humanitarian implications of relocating Gazans have been raised by international observers, including Iran's foreign ministry. The ongoing violence and military actions in the West Bank have drawn condemnation from Palestinian officials, highlighting the fragile nature of peace in the region. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.